Recently, I made a video criticizing Finn McKenty's content over on the Punk Rock MBA YouTube channel. And people were like, hey Dan, this is a pretty funny video, I like it. But then other people were like, hey Dan, I think that you're not being so fair. You're criticizing the intro. Sure, he does the same intro every single time in a regurgitated fashion, but you gotta watch the entire content. This guy makes great content now. Go out there and watch one of his entire videos, they said. So you know what I said in retort to that? I said, nuh-uh, no way, you can't force me. Nobody's gonna strap me down. Nobody's gonna tie me to any bedpost and make me watch some Finn McKenty content. That is until it's time to make more content myself. So here I am. I'm going to take that advice. I'm going to take that criticism. I'm going to put it into my brain and I'm going to spit something out. And that means I'm going to watch an entire video, an entire Finn McKenty Punk Rock MBA video. Now people are saying this guy lives rent-free in my head. That is not the case, okay? We have an overlapping audience, and when I talk about this guy, I kind of get views. So as a content creator, you gotta take all of those variables. You gotta work with what you got, because you gotta put food on the table, okay? And that's not to say that any of this criticism is manufactured or fake. It's real and it's authentic, and it's gonna happen fresh and right now, but I'm gonna introduce myself first. I am the internet's most ruthless gatekeeper and the planet's most entertaining human being. I am the satirical miracle. I'm a cozy content captain today. I am Dan Frampton. Thank you so much for kicking back with me here. You're gonna like this video right now to get it boosted. You're gonna subscribe to the channel if it's your first time here, and if you want to support me monetarily, you can send a super thanks or join the channel by becoming a member of the Secret Society. Just click that join button down there. So what video of his did I choose to watch? Well, I didn't want to dig too deep, so I'm watching one that's kind of recent. It's called Why Fans Hated These Albums, The Toxic Truth in parentheses. And the reason why I chose this video is because he's going to be talking about some Green Day in it, and my channel also receives Green Day content very well as well. So you see all of these content piles coming together for me to give you this fresh new kind of idea, and that is a reaction video of another content creator's video. But I gotta tell you, this is gonna be done in reaction video style. I'm gonna be pausing, I'm gonna be stopping, I'm gonna be playing, I'm gonna be ranting over top of this kind of thing. I'm gonna turn the audio down a little bit on it so I can kind of talk over it at times, so maybe I don't have to pause as often. But you know, that'll be the whole vibe of this thing, because I gotta do a whole thing called transform this content. But you know, he's probably gonna content ID me anyway. He's gonna send the old copyright police after me, even though this is gonna be done in 100% fair use. I know how to do a reaction video. I've been studying this stuff. This isn't my first time around the block anyway. But I think we have 3 bands we're talking about here, and I think he's gonna throw me a curveball here, because normally he only has the one topic. I think for the sake of today's video, for levity and brevity, and for my own sanity, since Linkin Park videos and since Avenged Sevenfold videos don't do so well on this channel, everybody that told me to watch an entire video, you're gonna have to be okay with me just watching the Green Day section of this video. So if you take the beginning of this video and you call it fraud, I'm gonna pull a Ja Rule. I'm gonna say, that's not fraud. No, that's more like false advertising, okay? So let's get to it. Let's see this B-roll that he chose. All right, Finland McChoksky, let's go.
Of course I'm gonna disrespect him. I hate the band. They suck.
Hell yeah, that's how I feel right now in this video too. This is the kind of energy I want to bring to my video.
The fans are gay.
Okay, maybe I don't want to go that far. Straight to your face! Straight to your face with the truth! Hate
What's
breed,
up,
bro.
everybody? I'm Finn McKenty. This is the Punk Rock MBA.
This is the Punk Rock MBA. You are my professor, Finn McKenty. I bet you didn't expect me to be pausing all over this thing right away. Yeah, we're going with that kind of energy right away. This guy's telling me what his name is. I watch all of his videos over here. My name is Finn McKenty.
And today we're here to talk about some albums that fans and critics absolutely hated, from Green Day.
Where's the energy, Finn McKenty? Today we're gonna be talking about some bands, I guess, that like fans really like. I don't know, these fans weren't really into. We're gonna be talking about Green Day, I guess.
Linkin Park and Avenged Sevenfold.
I won't be paying attention to that section of the video. I don't care about those bands. We're here for some Green Day video action, Finland McChoksky.
And most importantly,
I gotta workshop that nickname for Finn. I like Fat Michael Bartholomew III and Matt Skibbity Toilet. Those are amazing nicknames. So if you have any ideas for some Finn McKenty nicknames, leave them down below. Because Finn McChoksky's not working for me, even though it is. Finland McChoksky. Nah, doesn't roll off the tongue. It's not my favorite thing. Finland, Finnish, Finyo, Phineas. There it is. Let's work with Phineas. Something Phineas. All right, let's go.
Ask ourselves why. Were these albums really that bad?
Let's ask ourselves why. Let's ask ourselves these few questions. Why did the why?
And most importantly, what can we learn from it?
What can we learn, Phineas Mackenchild? That doesn't work either.
Because I think anytime people feel this strongly about anything, there's almost always something to be learned there from, I guess, a sociology or consumer psychology perspective.
Yes, sociology and consumer psychology. Yes, that's what I come onto YouTube for. I want psychiatric analysis from my punk rock MBA guy. You're a punk rock MBA. I don't want you to be telling me about psychology, psychiatry, or whatever. Tell me about the punk rock and why this worked as punk rock. That's it. You can even take the business standpoint because it is more business than it is psychology. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true, but it makes more sense in this context.
And so with that in mind, buckle up and let's get into it.
Buckle up. Oh no. He said buckle up, let's get into it, and then through to an ad. We're not getting into anything. You're going to an ad. I don't want to make my audience watch your ad, Phineas McIntosh? Phineas McIntosh? Nah, that doesn't work either. Bump, bump, bump. Okay, here we go. No, he's still advertising here, right? Yep, still advertising. That's great. Make your money, Finn. You know, you gotta get that bread. Very nice. Here, buy this product. Go to that product. Look at these spikes you can get by using this product. Hey. Oh, is he just selling himself? Oh my God. Is he selling his own course? Is that what this is?
Faster than I did figuring it out on my own. For example, in my opinion, the single most important thing for any channel is figuring out the right niche for your content. Like, what should you focus on and how do you talk about it? For example, for me on this channel, once I found that, I went from getting, a couple hundred views a video to tens of thousands of views per video, literally almost overnight. You can see it right here. And
all right, he's bragging. Do your homework. Find 3 examples of people and or brands that inspire you with their YouTube presence. Wait, is it?
I just want to help you speed run all of that. I am super excited about this, and I'm going to be putting a lot of time and energy into it over the course of the year. And if you want to find out more about it, you can just hit the link in the description of this.
Check out my YouTube coaching program. Wait, my mind is blown. Oh my God. Could you take my fledgling YouTube channel to the next level? Finn McKenty? Is that what we're doing here? I wasn't expecting this. Okay, all right. This might change the course of the trajectory of this video. Finn McKenty, let's do something cool. All right, that's awesome. Oh, wait a second here. Ask me anything about YouTube or your business, $200 in a video call. YouTube strategy workshop. Unlock the growth of your existing YouTube channel for $1,000. $1,000 for him to be like, titles and thumbnails are real important, and the more people that watch your video right away, the more likely the algorithm is going to pick up your content. There, I just told it to you. So make good content that is going to appeal to people and post it at the right time where your audience is going to watch it. If the algorithm is like, hey, I like this piece of content, it's working for me, it's going to boost it out to more people, all right? I'm not here to tell you how to go viral. I clearly don't know how to go viral. That's kind of a luck type thing, and if you're paying a guy $1,000 for that, my God, you must be the most sad, desperate, insecure little guy I've ever seen in my life. YouTube Accelerator Program. Create a YouTube channel strategy, content plan, and schedule from scratch. Oh my God, with this structured program, 4 video calls for $3,000. That way you save $1,000, bro, per video call. The guy's charging you $1,000 to pick his brain about YouTube. That is insane. Okay, I'm gonna break it down for you right now because I don't need to insult your intelligence, all right? Topic, thumbnail, title, good content, consistency, right place, right time. Easy as that. Done. $4,000. That is crazy. That is some crazy stuff out here. Finn McKenty acting like he's like Jake Paul in 2019. That is insane. I'd almost want to sign up for this program just to test it out and to get these video calls with him if I wasn't if I wasn't so sure that he knew that I like do nothing but make fun of him on the internet. Oh, I'm gonna send a privacy strike. Me and my wife are having a kid and we don't need this in our life type energy again. I don't need that. That ad was amazing. So we're getting more out of this piece of content than I was expecting. Now we're gonna be like, give us the Green Day content. He said he's really excited about it, and over the next year, he's going to be doing some stuff with this YouTube coaching program. I love it. I'm so here for it, and I love that he took this sponsor opportunity in his own video, where he normally plugs other things to plug his thing, and it's so good. This is how you do content, folks.
First of all, we have Father of All Motherfuckers from Green Day.
Oh yeah, fans hated that album. Why did fans hate that record so much? Something tells me that he's gonna do a little bit of fan servicing. He's gonna try to tickle the dickle, if you know what I'm saying.
Which came out in 2020. And it might seem weird to have Green Day on this list because they're one of the most respected rock bands of all time.
Yeah, I'll find a way to make fun of them. Don't you worry, Finn McKenty. I'll be on here every other week making fun of Green Day, even though deep down inside everybody knows I like them.
And in my opinion, for good reason. Mostly because their track record is pretty hard to beat. Their
Alright, so he's coming out here pretty pro Green Day? I like that.
second album on Lookout Records, called Kerplunk, is probably the best single snapshot of that late 80s, early 90s East Bay punk sound.
Okay, yeah, alright. So what is he gonna do? Is he just gonna do these mini wiki reads and just basically tell us, hey, these are the albums that people liked when they did it, and then at the end he's like, but then they did this one? Because that's not really exploring the thesis that even he presented in this video, the why. I could be wrong. He's probably gonna give us a why, but it's gonna be pretty basic and base level, I bet. Let's go, Finn McKenty.
And then, of course, there's Dookie, which was their major label debut. But instead of doing...
Oh my god, this is so painful to watch. Are you serious? And then they did this, and then they did that, and then I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with the story of Green Day.
Something really polished and slick with that major label budget. It basically sounds exactly the same as Kerplunk with that same kind of energy, just with slightly better production. And
that is a crazy take to say that it sounds exactly like Kerplunk except for better production. There's a completely different kind of vibe switch with that record. I don't know, dude. It does have that kinetic, frenetic kind of punk rock energy, which I love a whole lot. But it does have a different vibe and direction than Kerplunk.
And then about 10 years later, American Idiot revived their career.
Oh, this is where I fell off. Yeah, this is where most journalists and most people that are afraid to say their own opinion on the internet will say, this is where they picked it up again, guys. Everything was going so great in the 90s, then it petered out a little bit. Notice how we didn't mention Warning there, the album that kind of made everybody realize that things were falling off with Green Day.
And in my opinion, is one of the absolute all-time great punk albums, right up there with The Clash and Sex Pistols.
Of course you would say that it's one of the all-time greatest punk rock albums of all time. That's, I don't know, man. I mean, you can kind of go with that narrative if you want. Doesn't seem like a very genuine narrative.
I know some people think that's controversial, but I think it's the truth. And
Dude, I don't know if you think that that's the truth. I think you're saying that to be a little bit of a contrarian, and that's fine.
There's 21st Century Breakdown, which is kind of the spiritual successor to American Idiot, and these days is one of the fans' favorite albums.
And as a wiki read, this doesn't even finish the whole story. Like I said, there's no warning. There's no Nimrod mentioned here, the kind of things that made Green Day kind of switch it up a little bit in the 90s, going into the 2000s, leading up to American Idiot. You're not even telling the story over here. What are you doing? I'm so confused, Finn McKenty.
And so the point I'm trying to make here is that Green Day's discography over the past 30 years is absolutely stacked.
Okay, you left out the records that are critically not so stacked. And notice how we didn't even mention Insomniac either. Good God, this guy
does have some rough spots. By the 2010s, it seemed like they'd kind of lost their way with the Uno Dos Tres trilogy in 2012, which was, to put it bluntly, kind of uninspired and really to a lot of people felt more like a collection of unfinished demos that probably should have never been released than a triple album.
Yes, that's kind of true and kind of not true. It felt inspired. It felt like we have all of this stuff, but we don't know how to do anything with it. And to come out with like Uno Dos Tres was a kind of creative way to release these songs. That didn't make the songs good. The songs definitely sucked, and it definitely was like the era where we realized, things aren't really looking so great for our boys in Green Day right now.
And they tried to fix that with Revolution Radio in 2016, which wasn't bad, but just felt kind of phoned in.
It was bad and also phoned in.
And so a lot of people had just given up on Green Day. But
when you talk about uninspired, that was uninspired. That was them just going like, okay, let's just like put out a record that we think people are gonna like, and it like did not work.
But at the same time, a lot of fans still held hope for their next album, which they announced would be Father of All Motherfuckers. And those hopes turned out to be, let's just say, very misplaced. The first sign of trouble for this album was the bizarre billboard that they took out to promote it, which said, no features, no Swedish songwriters, no trap beats, 100% pure uncut rock.
I mean, it was like the most cringe thing that you could even imagine. Green Day, that whole album cycle was so bad. The internet was laughing at them, and rightfully so. They were putting out some of the worst content, some of the worst music of any artist, of any creator, of any kind back then, and of all time. This was definitely their worst stuff. And even though American Idiot is something that I don't appreciate, and when I fell off the Green Day fandom, I do recognize that it is the thing that catapulted them to the next level of superstardom and helped revitalize their career.
Which to me was just really strange energy for Green Day to be putting out. It kind of seemed like this was them taking shots at a lot of things going on in popular music at the time, like the popular Swedish songwriter Max Martin and the popularity of mumble rap, which on its own I think is a little bit of a bad look for an established band like Green Day. But
yeah, it was very much a bad look. It's like, hey, remember us? We're old school rock and rollers that do things the traditional way. Hey, all this stuff that's happening, all that SoundCloud stuff, no. We're the traditional boys and we like it. So I'm kind of seeing eye to eye with Finn McKenty on this thing right here.
Besides that, it was just a couple years too late because both of those things were kind of on their way out by 2020. And so it just felt kind of weirdly out of touch that they did that. And then there's the line 100% pure uncut rock, which just felt really strange coming from Green Day. Seems more like the tagline for some Midwestern radio station that still plays REO Speedwagon and Aerosmith. And then there's the cover art, which...
Yeah, it does, but the whole thing was that it was like written in a white powder, and to say that it was uncut rock, you know what I mean? That was the whole energy that they were trying to go for that I'm really surprised that you missed. They were trying to be edgy there. Yeah, sure, it did come across like a tagline for a radio station, but the thing to criticize there is the forced edginess. You nailed the out of touch stuff, because yeah, all that stuff was kind of on the way out kind of thing. But the forced edginess with 100% uncut rock written in a powdery substance, that is the thing that you need to be making fun of.
Which is honestly just odd. It's based on the artwork for American Idiot, featuring the arm holding a hand grenade that was on the cover of that album, but with Father of All Motherfuckers kind of scrawled on the arm in marker. And then there's a cartoon unicorn barfing on the whole thing.
Yeah, see, a big part of me really appreciates that album cover. That takes their most revered work and like pisses all over it with this awful graffiti. And I think that that's pretty cool. That might be the best, most creative move of this whole album cycle. Yeah, it's ugly. Yeah, it's the worst looking thing that you could possibly imagine, just scrawled over their most iconic work. But to me, that makes it pretty sick. It's just too bad that the music underneath it sucked ass. And a lot of people will be like, but look at the unicorn. It's so awful looking. Like, yeah, of course it is. It looks like just a sticker spanked on top of it to disrespect it, to therefore disrespect the people that revered it. I loved it as a statement. As an art piece, I think the cover is incredible.
And as for the meaning behind this artwork, which kind of had a lot of people scratching their heads, Billy Joe had kind of a non-explanation for it, saying, quote, I did the artwork and I scribbled Father of All Motherfuckers on the American Idiot album cover. Which, yes, that's what he did, but the question we're wondering is, like, why? Why did you think this was a good idea? What does it mean?
I love it. It means fuck that. That's the past. Fuck the past. That's over. Stop revering this thing back then and start listening to what's going on right now. It's him trying to be like a teenager, trying to be edgy, trying to be like subversive or whatever. How are you missing that? It's like so on the nose. It's not really that like deep of art. Finn, where is your head at?
It was all just kind of weird. And then there's the
all just kind of weird. Yeah, that's the artistic analysis that I come to Punk Rock MBA for. Really knows what's going on in front of him over here.
Music itself. Billy Joe said that they're going for, quote, an old-timey rock and roll record that traces the history of rock and roll, influenced by classic glam rock bands like T-Rex and Mott the Hoople.
Oh, it was so bad. It really did sound like music that was being played at a loudspeaker at a sporting event. I heard people say that it was like at a professional sporting event, but then I had people say, no, it's like a minor league softball game, and that makes a lot more sense. Because the jams aren't that good. No one's pump it up over there. It's not what's going on Father of All.
Which I guess I can hear.
Of course you can hear.
And it's not that this album is necessarily bad, it's just that it has a really strange vibe. I actually think this YouTube comment nailed it. The album sounds like the music from a YouTube ad. It was also a little bit odd that after doing that billboard where they talked all this shit about mainstream pop music and seemingly positioning themselves as the band that kind of rejects all of that, shortly after the album
there's all the sporting activities going on here.
They did an official video for Fire Ready Aim with the NHL.
Dude, that is very cringe. I can't enjoy any of that. That is for sure. And it makes me want to believe that the conspiracy theories are true, that they wanted to put out a bad record as their last record on this record label. I can't understand why you would want to do that. Like, it didn't even work as a funny troll, especially when you're putting all this into like doing an NHL thing.
And there's nothing inherently wrong with hockey or the NHL or anything like that. It just kind of came off as a little strange that after all the sort of energy that they put out with that billboard and everything.
I think I'm starting to kind of understand the whole arena rock now too. It plays into the whole same thing that the album cover does. It's like pissing all over the past and tradition, because punk rock people, punk rock bands aren't supposed to like sports, and they're supposed to revere that American Idiot record or whatever. This is them being like, nah, fuck that record and go to a sports game. So maybe it's kind of subversive. Maybe there's a little bit of nuance going on in the way that like Green Day was approaching that back then, that I was just too blind to, because the music, ladies, it sucked so bad.
That all of a sudden they take this sponsorship with a sports league and come out wearing these glittery suits and glasses.
It was so cringe. I hated it.
You kind of felt like Green Day had been kidnapped and replaced by robots or something. Like,
yeah, I think that they might have done that on purpose now that we're looking back in retrospect. When it was happening, it was like, exactly, I had this reaction that Finn's having right here. This was my take. But now that I'm looking at it with all these years removed from it, I'm like, man, was that deliberate? Was that just like an art piece that people didn't understand? Is this performance art done by pop punkers from the Bay Area? What's going on?
Like, who are these people? There was also a matter of them in one of the songs using a sample from the convicted sex offender Gary Glitter, which had a lot of people, I think, rightfully upset. Although,
yeah, that's a bad look. That's a bad move. I can't defend that.
So in their defense, they did donate all their royalties to charity, so at least he wouldn't get any money from the song. Fans...
That's kind of good. You know, we did a bad thing, but other people will get money from it. I guess that's all right. I can't really defend that. I don't need... Still puts a bad taste in my mouth. Don't like that at all.
Hated it, and critics were generally not receptive to the album either. As one reviewer put it, Green Day have become the very thing they once despised. Buck-chasing, mild boys of mayonnaise corporate rock. But
yes, and that's exactly what I thought too back then. And they wanted to do something kind of weird and bad and maybe subversive. Maybe all of this is to say, fuck the past, move on. I don't know, maybe.
At least we still have American Idiot, Dookie, Warning, and Nimrod. For those, we should be thankful.
Still leaving out Insomniac, the best one out of the bunch. That record is slept on, which is highly ironic since it's called Insomniac.
Some fans speculated that the whole album was bad on purpose.
We are getting to the conspiracy theory. Okay, what's his take on the conspiracy theory? Because I wasn't on board with this conspiracy theory. I wasn't like they're doing bad on purpose. Back then, I thought it just sucked and they were misguided and they were going kind of crazy. Maybe they were experimenting with drugs or going through rehab. Wasn't quite exactly sure, but I hated it. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, maybe it was deliberate.
Is this like deliberate fuck you to...
He just said the same word I said. I'm gonna punch this television screen right now.
Their label Warner Brothers, and to fulfill the last album on their contract before getting rid of the label. But since they subsequently re-signed to Warner Brothers after this album came out, I'm not sure that theory really holds up.
It's kind of true too about the re-signing, but maybe Bad on Purpose and Last Record don't need to exist together. You know what I mean? It was just a bad record with that album cover and them going to NHL sporting games. That in itself is the art piece. It can exist separately from the being the last album on the record deal, you know? Either way, the music sucked, and that's all I really care about, and I still have a high appreciation for that album art. But I'm not going to say that it was a deliberate conspiracy, that they made a bad album on purpose. It just is a bad album. At the end of the day, even back in the day, when Bob Dylan made bad records to kind of troll people or whatever, those albums are still bad. And even though it's kind of funny that he spent like a year and a half writing and recording and promoting records that he knew were bad to people that he thought were just going to say that it was good because it was coming from Bob Dylan. That troll in itself was funny at the time, but no one's going back to those records. You know what I mean? That's bad music put out on purpose, and that's kind of a crime against humanity, even though it's coming from Bob Dylan. So even if the conspiracy theory is true with Father of All, I still hate it. Bad music is bad music.
I think it's just a really bad album.
We're coming at it from two different perspectives here, Finn McKenty, but I think we're arriving at the same conclusion. Bad music. It's just bad.
So that the kind of energy you put out into the world is the kind of energy that you're going to get back. And so in their case, they put out a lot of this really negative, antagonistic energy out there with the Billboard and with some of Billy Joe's interviews and public outbursts and some of their press appearances. And so I think that the reaction this album got was largely the world just reflecting that energy back at them.
Maybe. I don't know if I agree with that. I do think their presentation of it was definitely deliberate because it was a change in direction 100%. So him being antagonistic and him rebelling, all of that is preconceived, phony baloney concocted music business stuff.
Let me tell you something. I've been around since fucking 1980 fucking 8. And you're gonna give me 1 fucking minute? You gotta be fucking kidding me!
That's so cringe, dude. Just like swearing to swear to sound edgy and so cool. The forced edginess. It's bringing me back to the forced edginess. I think that is the main crime of this era of Green Day, is them forcing this fake, rebellious, edgy energy, but still like NHL deals happening. It's insane. I think I have enough content to call it a day. So thank you so much, everybody, for kicking back with me here today. What did you think about this Green Day journey? Dan Frampton reacting to a Finn McKenty video, because these people saying, hey, you gotta react to the Finn McKenty videos, and I gotta tell you, not so good. You know, not so good. Didn't really feel that entertained all the way through. Didn't get any new information. Didn't get any lulls out of the whole thing. I don't know what the whole point of me watching that was, because I knew Father of All was bad. But I don't know, dude. I'm going to get out of here right now. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And until my next upload, you can watch this upload over here. Okay, see you later.